All right, so welcome to Conversations with the Crawleys. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is where we have those conversations about faith, family, relationships. And we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on our favorite shows. And this one is all about, we got a special guest.
A special
guest, our boy Sampson from Ready to Love. So come on, Sampson. How's it going there, bro?
Loving life over here, enjoying the evening. Florida temperatures, not a complaint in the world. God bless y'all.
I feel you. We're in Phoenix, so we know what great weather around this time of year looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love Phoenix. I was there in the Phoenix area, Scottsdale, for an entire year during the pandemic. I was supporting all the recovery efforts, supporting what is his name, Governor Ducey.
Yes.
Yeah, I was out there. He has a great team. Whenever federal government shows up, it's not about politics; it's about people.
Right.
And so we did our part. My team, we vaccinated over 800,000 Arizonans over the course of 1 year. Yeah, so we did our part.
Wow.
Okay, good.
So you know all about these Phoenix streets then.
I know about Phoenix and Scottsdale, Sedona, the Red Rocks. I went as far north as Kingman and as far south as Yuma and Tucson.
Okay.
And so I hiked your entire state. I did about 200 and I think it was like 217 miles in the span of a year and 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, you stayed busy.
Yeah, you were busy up in these
You were staying up in the house.
Just the dry heat, though. I actually enjoyed it because I'm used to Houston humidity and Florida humidity where you walk outside and you're immediately sweating. But I was able to run 5 miles and not even break a sweat out there during most of the months, not just summer.
Right.
Summer months, don't do that. That's not a good look.
I ain't trying to have somebody on my chest,
Would be life flighted from out of the top of a mountain.
All right, so we got a couple of questions just to kind of let people know who you are, kind of get acclimated to you. All right, we do something around here called One Gotta Go. And I'm gonna give you 4 things. As far as we're concerned, when you say one gotta go, it means that if it's gone forever, it's gone forever.
I'll be that.
All right. So Chinese food, Mexican food, soul food, or Italian food?
Chinese food.
Oh, wow.
Easy. That was quick.
Easy, quick. Okay.
Too much MSG, too much salt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying. Health is wealth, man. So I'm trying to go healthier,
I got you. I hear you. All right.
And hold on before that, but I know soul foods can also be high in that sodium content as well, but I got around some great chefs, and I know the people in my family at least know how to cook soul food without as much salt. So I would say Chinese because I can't control that. We don't cook that in my house.
Right.
All right, one gotta go gospel edition now. All right, Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, Israel Houghton, William McDowell.
I would have to say Kirk. I rode with Kirk for a while, but because he was challenged with some of his decision making, I'll let go of Kirk on that one.
Okay. All right. Now I know you are a Morehouse man.
Yes, sir. I heard you are too.
I am as well. I didn't graduate because that's a whole other story.
A Morehouse brother right here.
But I did start there. So what dorm did you stay in freshman year?
I'm one of the boys of Du Bois.
There you go.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
There you go. That was the dorm when I went there. I think I may have been 2 years before you.
2 years. Okay. I graduated in 96.
Okay. So I was on track to graduate in 94, but I majored in something other than school. So.
Okay. Gotcha. So I graduated cum laude. You must have graduated thank you, Lottie.
I graduated years later. I went back to school and finished up, got my master's and everything. But when I was at Morehouse, I majored in. I was a bio pre-med major.
Oh.
But what I actually turned out to major in was clubs, queens, and spades. I spent a lot of time.
So funny, those hallways of the boys. Sometimes you're rolling dice. Just trying to make a little bit extra money to go down to Krispy Kreme and pick up some donuts.
Exactly.
I know all about it, bro.
So, all right, good deal. So, Ready to Love, how did that come about? Did you audition? Did they seek you out? Kind of why Ready to Love?
I think most of the guys, we were recruited. They found us on social media. I think they saw my IG, from what I understood, and reached out to me.
Okay.
I was actually in Arizona, in your state, when they actually reached out.
Okay.
And so what made you say yes? Because anyone can call you and say, or, DM you. And who wants to just go on a single show, reality TV show?
Yeah, especially someone that doesn't even watch reality TV. My family's not even into reality TV. My friends, if we're watching something, it's sports.
Okay.
It's a documentary or it's something, movie based on Netflix or HBO or something. But reality TV never really entered, the circles that I kind of frequent. But as I was on the call, I got two phones. I was on the call. I used my other phone and I was Googling this show, and I realized that this was a Will Packer production. Okay. And the dude has depth and a reputation. He's an HBCU graduate, so I definitely wanted to see what this show was about. So after the first call took place, I watched a couple of the YouTube clips of, I think one was Houston and the other one was Potomac. Okay. And I knew it was going to be drama, but I never done television. And I thought it'd be a good experience. I'm single. Yeah, I was, at least. Okay. And I jumped on the opportunity to do something on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's kind of hard to say no when it's OWN,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. I mean, you're not the only one. So far, we've been hearing a lot of the contestants have never heard of Ready to Love.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to find out, my husband, I'll say he's more into drama. So he loves reality TV for the drama.
Okay.
And then
it's insight into people. You get to see people at their highs, their lows. You get to see how people are act and respond.
Yeah. And then I got on, I was like, and we're always sitting on the couch talking about relationships and talking about, okay, maybe they could have done this better, or they should have said this. And they were like, well, we could do this. We could do this on YouTube. I was like, really? You're like, yeah. So this kind of how we got into conversations with the Crawley, because we have a lot of conversations around relationships. Yeah. And
I love the name. I love how it just flows very well. Conversations with the Crawleys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how many years y'all been doing this?
It'll be 2 years in December.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, happy anniversary in advance.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And big ups to everything y'all are doing. As long as it's helping relationships gel, and the perspectives are making people ponder and think and grow and consider a different idea, then big ups to you. I support you 100%.
Appreciate it.
Because 26 years?
Yeah, we've been married 26. It'll be 27 in May.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. My birthday's on the 26th of this month. November.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Right, so
my birthday was the 4th. So
the 4th?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, so you're a Scorpio. Happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday to you coming up.
Thank you. All right. Look, we are a family already.
All right. Oh, yeah, definitely. Too many connections going around here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I know you kind of popped in and watched a couple of the videos of what we do. And we try to bring, because we're pastors as well, so we try and bring our faith into it, just even what we do as far as counseling folks, we try and bring that insight in, just because people are watching these shows and they're trying to see, they want to see love, right? But just having that balanced approach to say, all right, from the male perspective, this is why he responded that way.
Right.
From the female perspective, this is why she said that. Mm-hmm. So those type of things, definitely.
Yeah. I think that's what makes your show different. Mm-hmm. Is that range of not just the everyday conversation that you have with the neighbor or the friend or the coworker, but the faith aspect. Mm-hmm. Or the side that deals with your religious belief.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a twofold win So I appreciate that range that y'all offer to your audience. Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you and kind of how you displayed yourself on Ready to Love. That's another reason why we like this show, is because we love Black love. And a lot of times it has not been displayed in the best light. And so when Will Packer decided to do this show and we started looking at it, I was like, oh, this is a nice, diverse group of people from different cities that we can see, because we come in all shades. We have all experiences. And for men and women to come on there and show their best self, sometimes the challenging part of themselves, right? So did you have a thought in mind, like, okay, there's certain sides you wanted to make sure was shown about you when you entered the process, or were you like, I'm just going to be me?
Always me. I'm too old to be anything else. You know, I'm 48. And so, but this is one thing I definitely wanted them to kind of highlight. With God, with God. And the other arm says always. And so I wanted my faith to be highlighted on the show. And they did a good job zooming in on my arm. They allowed me to say the prayer at the getaway, where we kind of opened up the table for everyone to talk about why they felt they were ready to love in this chapter in their life. I spoke about my faith to different ladies on our journey. So I was thankful. And the good thing is that it's a brand of mine. I got it trademarked with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So with God, we put on, you know, water bottles and T-shirts and hats, just to bring people closer together, because for me, it's less about religion and more about God. It's less about the differences and more about the similarities. It's more about love instead of hate. And if we embrace God first, then I think more people across the globe will start to rub elbows and associate as brothers and sisters. So look forward to more to come on With God.
Stay fit with Shan says you definitely don't look 48.
You know, Black.
Thank you.
Black don't crack.
I drink a lot of water and I keep joy on my tongue. And I swear to God, that's the true fountain of youth. Just a lot of water, almost 2 gallons a day. And I smile and I just make sure I'm spreading joy wherever I can.
And that's the best way to do it, right? Because you have less stress. And when you approach life positively, you get positive back, you know, so awesome. So let's kind of dig in a little bit. So we're dating and mingling. Who was the first woman
woman that caught your eye?
The first woman that caught my eye was Looney.
Oh, okay.
So the first person that walked in behind me was April, and then Trinika. Beautiful. I mean, April is another woman that just is stunning physically. She's around my age, but looks like she's mid-30s.
Right.
You know, her skin glows. She has a natural sheen to her palette, and then Trinika, her personality is so bubbly. You know, you can't help but like her. She has like a girlish quality, like the girl next door. But Looney, in terms of my physical attraction, what I'm attracted to, her build, her curves. Remember I said I don't want someone straight down like 6 o'clock. I need something like more like 2:45. You actually mentioned that on one of your shows, bro. I remember. It was one of the first shows I saw you, and I'm glad you referenced that in your show. But yes, Looney had the physical package for me, but she also had the personality package, and so just putting those two together, it's a win-win.
Now, did you get a chance to have any dates with her? Because it looks like we didn't see a lot.
I had more dates with Looney and Brandy than I did with anyone else on the show. And they only showed one with Brandy, and they didn't show any with Looney, except the picnic group date with Mike and Brandy. You know, and so it was unfortunate because I celebrated Looney's birthday with her. I went on a glass blowing date with her, and we made a vase together. We had really good times, but we don't know why the producers decided not to show two dates. And again, it captured a Black woman and a Black man having quality, meaningful interactions,
Right.
that showcased what it would really be like in real life, learning about one another and showing interest in one another, you know, and but they didn't capture that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that just we've, you know, in the years that we've been watching, we recognize that a lot of times some of the better dates seem to be left on the cutting room floor, or even just kind of some of the other pieces to the story. Because, you know, sometimes it's just like all of a sudden out of the blue, you see two people together. You're like, where did that come from? And we find out from behind the scenes that they had 3 and 4 dates leading up to that one date that you saw this whole spark fly off with. So
right, especially when we were a little surprised that Brandy came into the picture, and we're like, okay, well, we just didn't see the backstory.
Oh, you talking about when she came to meet my friend?
Yes.
Yeah. People like, hold on, why is Brandy here? Because me and Brandy had me as her number 2 behind Mike. And I always had Brandy as my top. You know, it was Looney, Brandy, Shakira, and Shereese, my 1, 2, 3, 4, if I were to rank them.
Okay.
And so I went on equal amount of dates with Brandy as I did Looney, but they only showed one. That one dinner when I gifted her a journal and some pens. They just showed that one. That was it. But I had some great conversations with her offline, off camera, and it was odd because I'm saying to Tommy in the gentleman's lounge, hey, these are my tops. They're saying the same thing. So why is the camera cutting our dates? You know, it is what it is. They have a job to do. We all do, right?
Right. They try to make a storyline. So we kind of understand that. Yeah. So that's good to kind of know. Okay, let's talk about your gifts. And you did mention the reason why
you better have some nice things to say about the gifts.
We were defending you because
hold on, we had difference of opinions, right?
I had to back, bro.
You were coming from the male perspective, and I was coming from the female perspective.
Come on, Charlie, what you got?
This is my question. Now, when you're dating, do you have like a limit on how much you're going to spend when you're dating, and does it differ once you become exclusive with that?
No, it's not really a limit, but I just don't think I'm trying to impress too much while I'm dating through a gift. I'm trying to impress more through my dialogue, and just how I present myself. If I'm paying attention to you, you know. But on the show, I wanted to make sure that I'm showing who I am. Number one, I'm still a Southern gentleman. I want to show up with a gift, anything. I was always taught, like I told Tommy on the couch at the reunion, if a lady gives you her time, the least you could do is bring something meaningful, as a nice gesture. It's just a gesture, you know. These things are all under $20. Everything I did was under $20, but it made them smile, you know. And so, and a lot of them are gifts that last, like a plant. It grows in their home, you know. And so it was meaningful to most, you know, and they appreciated it. And the only reason why I did it, Tarsha, to everybody is because number one, they gave me their time, but number two, I went into this journey saying I'm gonna treat everybody as if I'm only dating one person. And that's how so it's not about for them to talk about the gifts in the ladies' lounge. And if they did, great, but just look at it like I'm dating just you. But it became like a comparative thing. What'd you get? Well, what I get? Well, that gift's more expensive than so. He must like all of us versus, he's just treating it the way he's just playing the process. And I wish more people just understood the process. It's almost like saying you can't talk to me nice because Mike talked to me nice. Or hold on, you can't pull out my chair because Randall pulled out my chair. These are nice gestures. You know, but the only thing that they drew a parallel to was the gifts. But every other action is still a gesture. And are y'all tracking what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. That's from the beginning. That's kind of the way I was like, no, he's trying to individualize these dates. He's trying to make them feel like
It is
Each person
understandable.
is different.
So I got your point. But as a woman, and this is what I'm saying, because we have to see a different perspective, right? Because if you've been dating a certain way and you've seen people track a certain way, when you don't see something different, it's hard to, differentiate between, am I special? Am I not special?
Right.
And I got your approach when you very definitely indicated very well that you were a Southern gentleman. So I was like, okay, then you just have to know from that perspective. But a lot of women didn't know, right? Because this is the first time they were dating you. They weren't used to that. And so being able to share it, like when it became like a situation with all the women, because you have to remember you're in the process. And I think it's hard when you're saying, hey, we're going to date multiple people. Yeah. And also it's going to be a camera in your face. So, I took it like after you explain it, I was like, okay, I get it, but we have to know you to be able to understand that.
True.
So totally get, but that's what I had to ask. So
okay, Tarsha, I get your side. You broke that down very well, Tarsha. I understand.
But from the male perspective, I understood what you were doing. I got it. And I applaud that, just because it does. And I'll say this, and I don't say this as shade, but I'll say it this way: dysfunction feels normal until you are introduced to something that is functional normalcy, right? Correct. And so if you've never been exposed to that, it's going to feel weird to receive a gift, and then you're also seeing that somebody else has received a gift. So I get kind of how the ladies may have felt that this is unusual, and so is this his game? Is this his shtick? And I didn't take it that way. So
yeah, because I think that's another thing.
You'd be amazed how many people hit me up in the DMs talking about, hey, I appreciate gifts. I'm talking about hundreds. It's crazy, man. My phone just, I have to make sure I turn off all notifications for social media. I did that a long time ago. But, and it's like, hey, listen, you don't have to give me gifts. I'll get you gifts. Are you used to getting gifts? It's all types of gift photos and videos that are being sent. Oh my God, it's a wild world out there.
I make a covenant with my eyes.
I was like, God, please help me. You're tempting me, Father. It's like he's challenging a brother,
It said, flee temptation, flee.
Okay.
Because
Devil, get behind me, you die.
Hey, listen,
because you would appreciate a gift. I think any woman, because I was saying, look, if I didn't know there was other women and I got a gift and it was thoughtful, and that's what we're saying. Like when a man takes the time to understand what you like, and then or
something about you.
Or something about you.
It wasn't you just went to the 99-cent store and got everybody a journal.
Right. And
it was with a different color.
I made sure that whatever I got, it was still a quality gift.
Yeah.
Nothing was cheap. Nothing was cheap.
Right.
And like for Trinika, another date y'all didn't see. I went on a date with Trinika. I got her some Tiger Balm for her wrist, because, so I wanted her to soothe some of the pains that she was having in her wrist. And I also got her an elephant vase with flowers already in it, but also with seeds, because she's all about spiritual growth and healing and the natural elements of life. Very similar to Shakira in that way. It's very nature based.
Yeah.
And but the elephant symbolizes, elephants have great memories. Trinika doesn't forget anything. She has a great memory. So I was like, okay, here's one side of Trinika, symbolized through one of the greatest, land creatures on earth, an elephant. And how she moves is very delicate and quiet and stealth. She's like that. Yeah. Just how she walks, just like an elephant. And the last part of the elephant is that symbolize perseverance and strength. I think her personality is one that will persevere, throughout the test of time. If she could live forever, her personality would just equate and get along with different types of ebbs and flows of people and places and things. And so the elephant was symbolic because of her personality. The aloe vera plant for Shakira was because her son is 7, Prince Amir, and they always get scraped up you know, at that age. So it was something for her to nurture and grow right along with her son as he's growing up, and be able to, you know, touch him up with some aloe vera whenever he gets nicked up.
Yeah.
You know, the pens and the journal for Brandy was because she travels a lot. You know, keep a journal, you know, it's just, so everything was thoughtful and meaningful. It wasn't just a gift, you know, so everything was individualized. And I'm glad that they said that, you know, that the gifts were at least tailor-made.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Shakira and your dates with her. We were thinking more that became like a more like a life coaching session instead of really you dating each other. Yeah. Can you expand a little bit on how you were feeling concerning those dates, and if you were really connecting, or if you felt like you were being there for her more emotionally?
The dates were genuine and authentic with her. That was my first date on the season, and it was very romantic. It was a lot of great eye contact, and that date was like almost 2 hours long.
Oh, wow.
2 hours. The dinner, we had like different courses. It was at an Italian restaurant, and I think it's called Via Emilia, right there in the heart of Miami. If y'all are over there, you got to check it out. Great service, great food, great wine menu, fresh breads. Everything was just perfect.
Yeah.
I typically tell a great Italian restaurant if the prosciutto is super fresh and thin. The prosciutto was on point. But anyway, we had a great conversation, and the wine was flowing, and so the libations were running through us, and we were kind of excited to start this journey together. I kind of knew my first date was going to be with her, and she kind of knew it was going to be me, just because of our interactions at the pool party. And so we were kind of excited that once we got there, it was. I was told on the way who it was going to be, so I was able to stop and pick up the gift. Because sometimes you don't know who you're meeting until you show up. So luckily they was able to do that for me every time. Like, hey, Liz, you got to tell me something, because I'm trying to order wine properly. I'm trying to bring a gift properly. I'm trying to show up with something. So they did that for me, and I really appreciated it. But in terms of it being a life coach, Tarsha, she doesn't need a life coach. You know, she just needs love, like every one of us, you know. And I think that the camera showed her emotional more than they showed other women being emotional. There were other women that were more emotional than she was, but she played that part for the show. But that character set, that type at the beginning, and they latched on to that with her because it was deep, because the tears were flowing different times. Women were in her face at different times, and so it just played into that character base. But for us, it was not like that. It was genuine. The conversations were always real. There was a lot of joy in our interactions. She was all about health and wealth in the mornings with her son, with herself, with exercise and making smoothies. I'm doing the same thing on my end. We just minus a child. So it was just nice to see her be not just a single woman about her hustle, but also a mother about her son. And there was no conversation that didn't involve him. And so that's what I really appreciated about her, is how she still had her life was totally engulfed with her rise as an independent businesswoman, as well as a mother, just, you know, coagulated.
Gotcha. Now, it sounds like you would have been interested in being a bonus dad if that was something that worked out.
So Tommy said, Tarsha, Samson, you don't have any kids, huh? And I was like, I don't have any kids. You know, but if she wants to have another kid, I'll hook it up. It's something I said, I think, at the mansion mixer. You know, I always said to myself, if a lady has a child, well, I shouldn't say always. When in my 20s, I wanted to date a woman that didn't have children. When I got into my late 30s, it changed. I had to be more open because everybody has kids, right? I'm the oddball, and so I'm okay if she wants to have kids. If she doesn't, if she has kids of her own, great. If she doesn't, then I'm down for that. I would love to have a child looking like me, acting like me, running around the house. You know,
say that now.
I say that now. Or I'm down for adopting, Or like I always say, you know, I got 11 nephews and nieces. I can pick them up on the weekend or a long week and take them back home, you know?
Yeah.
So the options are there, but you know, between us, I would love to experience that, you know, under God, you know, with a woman. I would love to have my own child after marriage, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means you're still open at what?
48.
48?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you know, I can go all the way to 70, right? What is it? Kevin, what is it? We can go all the way up to 70 and have kids.
A man can.
Yeah.
I got 20 more
Everybody's
years.
swimming. Well, you good.
I can hit home runs for 20 more years.
Hey.
Right.
Grand slams over here.
Now the question is, do you want to do that at 70?
No, I would love to have 1.5 kids. I think that's the ratio, 1.5.
Yeah.
And a dog, you know. But what I did when Obama came into office, 2008, I started getting into stocks.
Okay.
And then right before he got into office, I bought my first house. Okay. And it was a rental property. It's like an investment property for me. So I learned how to become a landlord. But it was real easy because I bought a brand new property. It had a home warranty.
Okay.
And so whenever anything went wrong, I had to call the 800 number and they would come fix it. So I didn't have to be anywhere in Texas to manage the property.
Okay.
You know, things went wrong. My tenants would call me up. I get on the call. Boom. They're out there fixing it within 24 hours. Right.
Nice.
So I sold that property during the pandemic. And to make a long story short, I became liquid a few years ago to the point where I don't have to work anymore.
Okay.
So for me, I said to myself, I can support me. I can support a wife and 2 kids and pay for their college education if they don't get scholarships, $25,000 a year. So I budgeted everything out. Okay. And so I can support me and a family with what I have today. Okay. And so I've been blessed. I've been lucky too. But I made some really bad decisions in the past with finances, with stocks, and I got burnt. Just to give you an example, I lost $97,000 in 3 days when I first moved to DC. Ooh. Playing penny stocks.
Yeah.
That's what'll get you. And then I got smart and I graduated and I started listening to different investors and people that are in the game, like Buffett, like Jim Cramer, and watching CNBC faithfully to just truly learn the art of dividend yielding stocks. 40 acres and a mule, why it's always best to buy real estate, because it's one thing there's always less of every single day, and that's land, that's property.
Right.
And then my money started just to compound, and it was great. And that's one reason why I wanted to turn more towards life coaching and mentoring, to share what I learned through my lessons, the good and the not so good, to educate other brothers and sisters to do the same thing. We all have the ability to retire early. We just don't have people in our ears telling us what they went through.
That's true.
And you mean that somebody passed you up because you gave gifts out?
What they say?
I said somebody gave you up because you were passing out gifts.
So what do you feel the crossroads was with you and Brandy? You know, because they showed you at the kind of like at the retreat. And when they showed you and Brandy, I was like, that seems like a good fit, you know, because we kind of handicapped too. It's like, I don't know if I'm feeling that couple, but you and Brandy was like, I could see y'all together.
Brandy, I said on another interview, I kind of agree with. I've had so many people ask me about me and Brandy, you know, over the course of 2 months. She has the personality of a great friend that you have, right? Think about your greatest friend, and that personality that friend has. That Brandy has that, and she's so used to talking to different types of people from all over the world as a flight attendant, right? So she's used to having these stimulating conversations with perfect strangers. And that's why everybody on the show got along with her. Who doesn't like someone that gets along with people? I mean, who doesn't like Michelle Obama? So Brandy has the Michelle Obama type of persona, right? And then she's super sexy. right? She dresses, she wears her clothes very well,
right?
And she smells good too. She knows how to complement her natural scent with perfume. But she's so genuine and authentic. Like she doesn't really care what you think of her, but it's always the proper thought, that you have of her, because she's so consistent. So yeah, there was chemistry between her and I, and our conversations were great. It made sense why she was in my top and where I was in her top. It made sense throughout our entire journey. But there is a wild side that she has that I used to be like that when I was younger, in my late 20s and early 30s. But yeah, she's still in that, that mode. And so I was happy to see that she actually found, someone on her level, like Mike. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just because the way they portrayed it in the show, it just kind of hits you in the face when you were kind of like, oh, there's Brandy. Oh, there's this connection. Okay, where did this come from? And now we have to kind of build and understand it as the show is still progressing.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why everyone's still kind of questioning it, because it seems like it came out of the blue, when it actually did.
Right, because now we know you've had multiple dates with her. So.
Yeah, and she's saying the same thing on her interviews and her lives. She's sharing how what it was like, our experiences together. And again, we can't say anything negative about one another. It was pure, and I'm glad that it showed at least one date that we had.
Yeah,
At least to make some of it make sense, just a tad.
And then walk us through, because there was the date that you had with the three ladies, I think it was, and your ex. So I know that there was some pushback from the ladies because they were like, no, none of them knew that you were going to be, or that you were bringing your ex or bringing the others. Kind of walk us through that, because there were some things that the ladies were saying about that.
Yeah, so I never knew like it was going to be three women, showing up to meet my ex. I thought it was going to be one. I didn't know who they were going to pick, because I'm still mentioning those three since Shakira had just been eliminated. Right. So I said maybe one, maybe two, because I heard Randall also was going to have maybe one or two show up at his, meet the ex, and he also had three. So Randall had three, and I had three.
Yeah.
So even my ex was surprised. I was just like, hey, be ready to meet one, maybe two, of my connections, and just be ready to be asked about everything. So I was comfortable. My ex-girlfriend was comfortable, but the ladies were not comfortable because they all were wondering what the other person was kind of doing there.
Gotcha.
I think Looney was the least not comfortable, because her connection at that point was LJ and Justice.
Okay.
And so, but I think Brandy and Shereese were like, what's really going on here?
Gotcha.
But I did say to all of my connections at that point, all three of them, that my ex is coming in town from DC. So you may be the one that's coming to meet my ex. But remember, I'm playing the game the way it should be played. So I'm not telling Brandy what I'm telling Looney. I'm not telling Shereese what I'm telling Brandy. I'm just speaking to the person that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I'm not the type of guy that's asking, hey, how'd your date go with Mike? Or hey, how'd your date go with Randall? I'm not that guy. And so I'm definitely not talking about the guys or the girls when I'm speaking to my connections, on camera or off camera. So I think that's what the problem was, because I was one of the only people that wasn't doing that.
Right.
Yeah, because that's one thing we point out a lot of times, is that I don't understand why you waste the energy of I'm with dating somebody, and then I'm talking about who you dated and who I'm dating in that conversation. It seems like a waste of energy and a waste of time to talk about other people when you're supposed to be trying to find out if there's a focus or a connection between the two of you.
Treat it like real life. Treat it like real life. Like you're not talking about everybody else. Like if you're showing an interest in a young lady, you're not going to be talking about, hey, so what's going on with that other?
Right. But we just find out that it's just kind of interesting how we can kind of proceed into Shereese. as she started to show up and we started seeing you with having more dates with her, and Kevin was a little skeptical, like,
I wasn't a little skeptical.
I know, I saw that.
I wasn't a little skeptical. I was a lot skeptical.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to be positive. Maybe there's something we're not seeing, because a lot of times they cut everything. And I'm like, I always like to look at the positive first.
I was in a CD for you, bro. I was like,
no.
Oh man, it's so funny. It's so funny. The DMs were popping, when they saw me and Shereese, the camera started putting us together.
Yeah.
They started, that's when the DM started popping up, big time. Like, no, I could do so much better for you, Sampson. Like, I get along, I don't curse. There was so much of that going on. But it was fun because Shereese and I got two big things in common.
Mm-hmm.
We're in our mid-40s. Never been married. We don't have children.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Right.
She's very independent. I'm very independent. What'd you say, Tasha?
I said, and rare as you're dating. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she kind of grew up with a single mom as an only child. I grew up with a single mom with 4 siblings.
Okay.
She's Baltimore roots, but spent a lot of time with her uncle and cousins on the farm, on the ranch in the Carolinas.
Okay.
I grew up with my brothers and cousins, skipping rocks and ponds and fishing and, jumping on pigs and hogs. And, we had a lot of country foundational roots as well.
Yeah.
So our conversation was always cool. I mean, Shereese she's a riot to talk to,
Okay.
I hung out with her after the show, after the reunion, her and her family. I met her aunts and I met her closest friends, and not just Rochelle I met on the show, but I met some people as well outside the show after we wrapped up. And she's just a good person. She's misunderstood most of the times, her conversation is not for everybody.
Right.
But she is, what I respected about Shereese is that she's super honest.
Mm-hmm.
She can look at you and be like, I don't like this about you, and she won't sugarcoat something with her girlfriends. If you're wearing the wrong outfit, girl, Shereese will tell you, girl, take that off. We're going to get you something else.
Yeah.
She's not going to just say something just to say it. So I respect Shereese in that fashion.
Do you feel like she was genuine to you during the process as you guys were dating?
I think at the beginning she definitely was, and I think towards the end, just the chatter happening behind the scenes, I was trying to do a lot of avoiding it, but there was this whole connection with her and another guy that they was hiding, and then someone just was talking to me about it. One of the ladies was just saying, hey, just want to let you know, you don't know about this, but she has a very strong connection with someone else. And I was like, it's okay.
You can't say
it's the show.
You can't just say that and not throw out who that was.
Right. It's Swayze.
Okay.
But you see, Swayze had Kadian and Shereese is what kept Swayze in the game, because Swayze was on the chopping board a lot, on day one, all the way through the show. But Kadian, one thing that the producers do well is that if you do have a strong connection, they're going to try to nurture that.
Okay.
Even if the numbers don't align in terms of the ladies saying you're in my top, you're in my bottom. Sometimes they're going to make sure that if there's a potential love connection, they're going to do their best to nurture it. Like, no one had Katie in their tops.
Okay.
Most of the guys had Katie in the bottom from day one.
Okay.
And so we were all scratching our heads like, how is Katie still here? Everybody was like, how is Katie? The girls and the guys were like, how is Katie still here? Like, we're putting in her in our bottom, every time we're in the lounge with Tom.
Right.
But Katie Swayze always had her as his top, as number one.
Okay.
And so you could say so and so are my tops, or you can say she's the only one I'm feeling. Swayze was like, she's the only one I'm feeling.
Gotcha.
But you have to also, Tommy will say, well, you can't just pick one. Who else? And so then Swayze would say, you know, Shereese.
Okay.
So Shereese was also always in the bottom a lot, you know, from day one and day two. Remember, with the day one, it was Dominica.
Right.
That's true.
Day two, it was Dominica.
Right.
And Shereese.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just kept, and then the cast dinner, it was Shereese and Shakira. Right. So it was a lot for Shereese. And I think it was shocking. So she did her part to get to know guys, kind of remove some of her layers and open up and be a little bit more vulnerable. But we were all like wondering about Shereese and Katie and how they were staying on for so long.
Yeah.
But I think there's math beyond our understanding on how they do it. But I think both of them ladies wanted to find love on the show. And so I'm happy that at least one of them did, Katie.
So that brings up, so it's not, because I think we've all been under the impression that it's been kind of like just a ballot, if you will, and whoever the low two people are is who goes up. But is it kind of like the producers have more input to say, no, these are the bottom two? They take the kind of your suggestions and then
they had to, because there's no way that because some of the ladies liked Swayze's personality, right? He was funny. And so I think Kayla had Swayze in her top, Katie and always, and Shereese always. So Swayze had an opportunity to stay, even though he was on the chopping block a lot. It was those three ladies that were keeping him in the mix.
Okay.
But for Shereese and Katie, there was really no rhyme or reason, because I was sometimes the only guy that was saying Shereese's name, you know, in the lounge. And I'm like, so she's still here. Like the cast dinner, when Shakira went home, there were more people that said Shereese's name, you know, to be eliminated that night versus Shakira.
Okay.
You know, so I think, again, if they see that Shereese really has the heart and the head to connect on this show with love and get to the couch with Tommy at the end, and Shakira doesn't, then they're going to stick with Shereese regardless of the votes.
Yeah.
Now with Shereese, they were showing you guys, and it seemed like you weren't having those deep conversations, or Shereese has to pull everything out of you. You know, can you give us a little background? Because it sounded like you were having those conversations over the phone. You were vibing. You're like, okay, this is going to go somewhere. But yet we got to see that it seem like it wasn't in depth enough. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit?
Well, the producer said, Sampson, you're the most open that we have. Like in the lounges, I'm exposing myself. On the dates, I'm just so open. The conversations are so vast. Women are walking away saying it's the greatest date. It's a good date. You know, so, you know, how they spun that, you know, with just one person, you know, I was just like, golly, you know, I'm watching it at the same time y'all are watching it, you know, and I'm a talkative guy. Y'all know this. Like, I know how to talk. I'm a public speaker in my profession, you know, like this is what I do. So to turn a public speaker that has a marketing background, a public relations background, an advertising background, a sales background, a media relations background, to become the one that's not open. Some people that watch these shows can say, well, maybe you have all that, but you still can be closed off when it comes to love and your heart and matters of relationship and exchange with a woman. But no, I was all the way out there. These ladies knew my depth when it came to my past relationships and what worked, what didn't work, and what I want in the future with a woman, and beyond just friendships and relationship, but truly a marriage. I'm telling you, look in my eyes. Your boy Sampson is ready to get married. I'm ready to fall in love. I'm ready to have a family. I'm ready to do this for God.
You're going to have everybody coming to your house. It's going to find you.
Come.
I'm expecting your DMs to start blowing up a little more.
You got 2 phones, right? You got enough phones.
Hey.
Let's see.
Yeah, but it was there was a side of me that, you know, I'll just go ahead and tell y'all if you haven't heard through the grapevine, but of course I was being vulnerable and open, but I knew that there was nobody on this show for me at the beginning. And so it got to a point where I'm being Sampson, I'm being cordial, I'm being kind, I'm being giving, I'm having good conversation, but I think the ladies knew that I was just giving friend vibes.
Yeah.
And the consistency of how I was being me, no one felt special, right? And if you're on a show called Ready to Love, you have to feel special. How would you know if you're the one for me, or if you're the one for him, right? So Sampson, I was just treating everybody the way I typically do in the dating world, but I didn't see anyone there for me, so it was kind of consistent across the board. So Looney saw it, Brandy saw it. Shereese was the last one to truly see it, but it was more the actions that I stopped doing that allowed her to see that I just wasn't feeling anymore. Like the conversations just were shorter. I wasn't answering as much. I was really just entertaining more of my friends and my personal life between, scenes. And I think she caught on to that. But I also know that, again, just through being on the show, that she was also feeling Swayze a lot, and just from what the ladies were sharing from the ladies' lounge. And so I was happy. I was just like, okay, if Swayze has an option, if it doesn't work out with Kadian, because I know Kadian's personality and Swayze was challenging for him, and also challenging for her. Well, maybe it would work out better for Shereese, because Shereese said to me and to the girlfriend that I met, Rochelle, that she's into athletes and athletic type, and that's Swayze. I'm an athlete too, but she was his swag and style is very different than mine.
Right.
He's 15 years younger than me.
Right.
It's very different, and she likes younger guys. And you saw there's a date towards the very end with Shereese and Swayze, and she's basically saying, "So what's up?" He's like, "No, I'm not feeling you like that. I'm with Kadian. I like you, you're good people." But she was pushing it. She was wanting that. And so when I saw it, it made sense. Like I was like, "Oh, so this is what they were talking about. This is what they were talking about." It's like, okay, so she never really. She always told me that Swayze was just a friend. She's like, "I can only see him as a friend, Sam," but it was different. She saw him as much more than that. She was just telling me something different. So, but I was happy that she entertained that, because again, I think her heart's ready to love. So if it's not someone else, it could have been Swayze.
Okay. So how did we get to this point where y'all having dinner and she's like trying to pull something out of you, and you're like, okay, hold on. While I'm cutting my steak, let me tell you off real quick. How did we get there? How did we get to have a nice day? Because
you had the line that I was like, okay, there's that Morehouse man right there.
What I say?
When you were like, if I listened to the chatter, you'd have been gone a long time ago.
I mean, think about it. If she could have been gone on. The chatter was happening with Shereese at the mixer. Day one, at the brunch, that's scene 2, in the gentleman's lounge, scene 3, so if I just raised my hand and said Shereese is in the bottom on any one of those days, Dominica would have been here, April would have been here all the way through the end, instead of Shereese. So but I didn't, she was always in my top, so and the truth of the matter is, Tarsha, on that date, it's the truth. I think it went over her head. I don't even know if she still caught what I was saying, but you're talking about what Kadian and Brandy said to me. Do you want to talk about what people are saying? Right. Because I'm not talking about what people are saying. I'm giving you an opportunity to talk about you. Right. I don't want you to be defined by another man that doesn't understand you or doesn't like you. Right. I want you to be able to define yourself. I mean, isn't that fair? I mean, don't you want to be your own voice?
It sounds like.
Yeah, and she didn't understand. She's like, I have the power to like it's like a Avengers, like superhero type thing. Like I'm about to get
the snap.
She was looking for her General Hospital moment.
Do y'all remember my date with Looney? Her elimination date?
Yeah,
it was just do it with grace, do it with class. You know, don't tell someone they're not ready to love like with angst. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, thank you for the time, Sampson. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for just, meeting my father. I just want you to know that it's not about the ladies and what they're saying. It's just not us.
Right.
You know, it's just not, I'm not feeling you. You're not opening up to me, but at least I'm glad I was able to give you a facial. I'd have been like, oh, I appreciate that. Let's continue to enjoy our food and have some drinks and walk out of here smiling, but for it to be all like, hey, listen, you want to talk about them girls? Okay. I'm going to bring, because I'm half hood, half holy, I'm like, hey, like pray for me. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? So there's a side of me that can still come out and be like, what? Are you kidding me? And so,
a little bit of it.
yeah. If you want to talk about girls, okay, I'm gonna talk about the guys. Mm-hmm. And so the camera caught an hour-long situation over dinner. They caught 10 minutes of it where I got amped, and they cut out everything else. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. I actually left the table. Kevin, check this out. You know how relationship experts and marriage counselors, they say, well, how do you handle conflict? Well, I used to teach effective communication classes, conflict resolution, stuff like that. And one thing you could do whenever things get heated is just step away, walk around the block, come back, right? Just allow the temperatures to cool down.
Yep.
And so I said, Shereese, I'm gonna step away real quick. I went to the bathroom, give her a second to calm down. I knew she was drinking a lot before I got there. She was waiting on me for a while, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the bathroom, producers come in and they thinking I was about to leave. I was just like, no, I'm gonna come back, calm down. Because every time, we start talking, she's getting hot.
Yeah.
She's getting hot. And y'all seen this all throughout the season, she gets hot quick. So I'm a good communicator. I'm usually able to diffuse situations and bring things down. And but it got too much. So I came back to the table and I said, is this seat taken? That was 20, 30 minutes after all of the first communications were taking place. I came back. The food was already on the table. I came back. And if you're really good at dissecting scenes, you could see that was truly edited the entire day. Yeah. Big time with the food already there, right?
Right.
It seems like I just showed up.
Right.
I was there for an entire 30 minutes.
Right.
So I try again. And she just wasn't trying to hear anything I had to say. I think she was really ready for me to just be barbecued. And I knew that I was about to be barbecued because I got a call on my way to that date by one of the ladies that was in the lounge talking about Sam. They're just, throwing shade and making up stuff, and they're lying with your name in it. And so just be ready. And I was like, I've been ready to go,
Yeah.
So it was no hard feeling, but I didn't want it to be her to send me home, because I was like, they could have sent Brandy or somebody else to do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't send someone that's not getting along with people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Send somebody that actually can do it as a woman should do it, as a lady should do it, right? Why send the one person that's not getting along with me or other people when I'm getting along with everybody else? But it's TV. They want the ratings. So I'm just like, okay, that's cool. So it is what it is. And I just rolled with it. I enjoyed my steak.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, we could tell.
You're like, okay, bye. See you later.
But I will say this, Tarsha, Kevin, that's the one scene I wish I could take back.
Okay.
I wish I could have still bowed out, gracefully, because I'm always taught and I'm always teaching that do not let the stimulus around you control you. Control it, manage it. And but it was just a lot. I had my brother picked up by an Uber from the production team that I was supposed to pick him up, because Shereese was supposed to meet my brother the day after or the 2 days after. Okay. And I was looking forward to my brother coming in from Austin, Texas, because the plan was to show my home space and my comfort zone, practicing yoga and swimming with my brother out by the pool with me, throwing the ball, just kicking it.
Yeah.
And so I was looking forward to having Daruvala Family Time on the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm hearing I'm about to be barbecued, I'm just like, are they about to do this? You know, I can't even pick up my brother. Are y'all kidding me? You know, it's a very late phone call. I'm swimming, relaxing. I'm about to swim, pick up my brother, hang out in the city for a little bit, crash, and then wait to see if I have a meet the family date with Shereese the next day.
Okay.
So my mindset was just looking forward to all these promising positive experiences I can always look back on with my family. Like, look at me and Dominic, my little brother, you know, on television together.
Yeah.
And it didn't get to pan out that way, you know. So I was perturbed, you know, stepping in. And I didn't want to bite my tongue. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and just you know, give a little piece of my mind, a little piece of my frustration, not just with the cast, but just with production, you know.
Which, again, it's still being authentically you, right? Because we know there's multiple sides to us, and so for you not showing that side, we probably be like, yeah, was he holding back? Was he being genuine at the moment?
I was pumping my fist. I was like, yes, yes.
Another DM moment. It was another DM moment for my phone, you know. Oh my gosh. I tell you, I had these moments where I showed a lot of emotion and frustration and damn near level angst throughout the season. They never showed any of it. They really painted me out to be this angel of a guy. But at the cast dinner where Shakira was eliminated, I got wide open. We were all buzzing. We were drinking. It got buck wild in there because of, you know, Katie and Shakira with that whole exchange. And I was just like, it's time for me to drink some more Prosecco. This is getting crazy. So I was already on my fourth glass. I was buzzing. And so when it got around to what was transpiring that y'all didn't have a chance to see, I was telling Tommy everything, you know, and the guys were like, damn, I never seen Sam like this, you know, but we all had an opportunity to get real on this journey. Everybody got real. Every girl, every guy, because it was tough personalities. And I think production did a good, whoever recruited, they knew that the ratings are going to go through the roof because the personalities, they didn't match us to jail. They matched us to Clash.
Right.
It matched it. And so there's a reason why they showed Sampson and Shereese coming together. You know, that we're very different personalities. She's very atypical from anyone I've ever dated, let alone a girlfriend. I never dated anyone like her. Ever in my entire life. And so but I think that they knew that I was the only one that could possibly you know, break down some of her walls. And I thought I was fairly successful. Every man reaches his limit. Every woman reaches her limit. I think she was as frustrated with me as I was with her, you know?
Yeah.
Now, how did y'all become friends? Because now you were saying after the show, you're meeting her family. So how did you kind of make up, or did she apologize, or kind of how did?
Well, you know, so there was a time after that scene, I just blocked her. I don't like talking about other guys and girls throughout the show. I wanted to block her before I blocked her, you know, because you know, I'm old. I don't do the gossip thing, and I definitely don't want to talk about other dudes. You know, if I'm talking about a guy, it's a sports figure or an actor or something, you know, it's someone that inspires me, a motivational speaker, you know, but I'm not talking about dudes in a dating game and what they're doing. Like so the conversation with Shereese and I was never about us. Whenever she wanted to talk, it was very rare about us. It was really about what her experiences were like, you know, what someone said. You know how, you know, when you go to the barber, Kevin, you know, some guys talk about what's going on. It may be dramatic because they're at the barber.
Right.
When ladies go to the salon, that's what y'all talk about. When y'all having brunch, it's like gossip and rumors. And can you believe he did this? And she's in that profession, you know, in her salon. That's what she's used to doing and talking. I don't live like that. I don't talk like that. I'm not, you know, I'm not saying it's wrong for people to be like that, but I'm not like that.
Yeah.
And so you know, so after all that went down, I just blocked it just because I wanted to be free of the drama and just get back to a sense of norm. And but before the reunion, I wanted to reconnect because I didn't want anybody, especially myself, to walk away with people that feel unnerved around me. And she was the one that was, you know, kind of unnerved with the situations in the relationships on the show. And y'all saw the fights with her and Katie and her and Zoe. I was always trying to be a buffer for her, always trying to be a sounding board for her. And maybe one day I can still be that in her life, or just a friend. You know, I think I can hang out with her. Like right now, we're not talking, but I'm okay with being a friend one day, or at least an acquaintance. You know, I don't see myself as a friend with her, but definitely an acquaintance when I can, you know, be cordial with. If I see her, it could be more than just hi bye. It could be let's grab a drink. You know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, she has good people around her. You know, and like her circle, they accept her and they understand who she is, and it's like that's just Shereese, you know. So you love it or you hate it. It's just Shereese, and I know people like that, you know, and doesn't have to be everybody's cup of tea, but you don't have to marry everybody that's like that, right?
Right,
It's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
So I know we found out in the reunion that you have someone. Is that still true?
Yeah, she's cool, and she's a woman of faith.
Okay.
Tarsha, I got a list of 10 C's that I've been carrying with me since college.
Okay.
And one of them is being a Christian.
Okay.
And so, but I'm gonna list these other 9s for you real quick. So Christian is the first C. That faith in God and Jesus Christ is so important. A good conversation. A woman that can cook.
Okay.
Clean body, clean tongue.
Okay.
I don't like a woman that curses a lot. Cursing sometimes is okay, but cursing a lot, not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charisma, confidence, career driven.
Okay.
Her own car.
Hey,
that is important in there somewhere.
Her own crib, you know, not a baby crib, but her own house, her own crib.
Yeah.
And the last one, a love for children, your own or others. You know, just I think something about a heart, man or woman. If you don't like children, I don't understand how you can. You don't have to like them of your own, but just
in general.
In other words,
in general,
you don't consider them baggage, right?
Yeah. And then the last one, if it was already 10, is good credit score. You know, so it's very important. You know, so those are the 10 C's that I typically look for in a woman, but Christian definitely at the very top of that list.
Okay.
So yeah, she's a Christian, and she has every one of those C's, by the way.
Okay.
And I'm happy to have met her. And I know your next question, was there anything prior to? No, my first date with her was after that scene with Shereese.
Okay.
And I wanted just to get back into my norm, what was normal for me, in terms of dating a woman, and she provided just that.
Okay.
So, let's go back just a tad bit. So you talked about being a Southern gentleman, and we've seen a lot how you date on the show. Why are you still single? Because that was my question when we were halfway through the show, right?
Yeah.
You're attentive, you listen, and you have all these great things going for you. So do you feel like you've progressed in who you are as Sampson to well, I'm finally coming into myself? Or was there opportunities there, but it just didn't work out?
It was the right timing or whatever.
Yeah, there's one woman that made me shop. Well, I should say, make me do research on diamonds.
Okay.
So there's one woman I was ready to pose to. I started researching on cut and clarity, carat, the diamond language. And I started thinking about how I wanted it to be romantic, just me and her, not a big scene, just a me and her type of situation for a proposal, and then where. So these thoughts were in my mind because my heart was speaking, and I knew that my heart was ready, my head was ready because of how I was praying to God, you know. And it was not a petition; it was more like just gratefulness that He's giving me this opportunity to see a woman in my life that I could see myself with forever.
Yeah.
So, but why single all this time? I had 10 years of my life in long-term relationships.
Gotcha.
10 years.
Okay.
Between 3 women.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. I just wasn't ready to settle down with them.
Okay.
One was in my 20s, 2 were in my 30s.
Okay.
And there was a part of me, Tarsha, where I was fearful, to be honest with you, of marriage because of the divorce rate being so high and people looking for a reason to walk away instead of just working it out. I mentioned that to Looney in our first meeting at the Mansion Mixer. I said, she was talking about her relationships. I was questioning, like, are you quick to leave whenever issues of the heart, you know, come about? Or are you willing to stick around and work it out? Because some people just say, you don't understand my heart, you don't understand what's in my head, deuces, I'm out. Especially the 40s and under crowd, you know, it's just like it's a different type of woman and man that's walking around this earth. And there's no work ethic in the workplace, and there's no work ethic in relationships.
Right.
So I'm old school, you know, and so for me, I'm okay with working things out through the thick and thin, through the tough times. And so I had a fear that I may be the one committed and my spouse may not be. And one little thing or one big thing, you're throwing in the towel. So there's a fear because I had family, I had friends that had children that are now divorced, still divorced.
Gotcha.
Never remarried, and saying, don't ever get married. You know, there's just too many conversations out there.
Yeah.
You know, when there's 43% women out there single with kids.
Yeah.
That's a large percentage.
Right.
And a lot of them aren't looking to get married. They're looking for companions now. Just a guy that can understand them, respect them, that can spend time together instead of doing the marriage thing all over again. That's the reason why I had respect for Mike, who been married, has children, 3 kids, and ready to do it again. And may get married with Brandy, the way they're going right now, you know. So I'm happy for them. So that's the answer. There was some fear, Tarsha. And but then I realized I can't allow my fear to dictate one of the most beautiful things that God has to offer, and that's love with somebody else. So I wanted to change my mindset regardless of what's happening around us all over the world, and make myself vulnerable for that potential love mate.
Yeah, because I think you were indicating that you did the person you're currently in a relationship, you already had established a friendship. I think
correct, since January.
Okay. Yeah. Which is good. I think those are good starting points because I know
for us, we told you we 26 years. It'll be 27 in May, and we'd be lying if we said that there weren't times where we were like, I like you, I love you, but I don't like you.
Right.
You know, but we made a decision early on that the word divorce is a curse word in our house. That we both have said, if either of us ever comes to bring papers, I told her I would give her what she wanted because of the way we've kind of built things is that if she's at that point, there is no coming back from it. But we never want to get to a point and never be in a place where that is an option. So we don't treat it as an option. We don't throw it. It's like a loaded gun. We don't pull it out unless we actually plan to use it. And that's how we approach even that conversation. So
wow. So that's interesting, Kevin. I got to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because maybe I can learn from you. Maybe we can learn from you. That if she comes to you and it's got to that point you're not even going to question it because there's no coming back based on her own independent thought or feeling. My question as a Christian brother to another Christian brother and a Morehouse brother, even though you didn't graduate from there, is this: for the young brothers that are out there listening, why wouldn't you want to take that thought of her point of no return and convince her that love is still more powerful than what could, break y'all up?
And I'm not saying, let me kind of when I say that, what I'm saying is that because I know who she is and how she feels about marriage and how she feels about divorce, if she ever has gotten to the point where she's like, I'm done, that means that we've gone through all of the roadblocks. We've gone through all of the guardrails. We've gone through everything. So at that point, there is nothing left to do because we've exhausted every other option.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm tracking.
Right. Because when we dated, those were the first conversations we had. What is your idea about divorce? What do you think about divorce? How would divorce work if that were to come up in our relationship? Because my mom was a single parent, right? My parents got divorced when I was 5.
Yeah.
So one of the curses I wanted to break in my relationship is that there wasn't going to be any divorce.
And my dad divorced before he met my mom. So we both have divorce in our lineage in the cycle. And so we said we wanted to make sure that we broke that cycle for our family. And so that's why we've made it so that, again, we've had battles, we've had arguments, we've had the difficulties of any relationship going to have. We just approached it from the aspect of, we're not going to bring up divorce. We're not going to consider that an option.
Correct. Because I think when you're in that friendship stage and you decide, okay, I want to take it to another level, and you have the conversation, you're trusting in that person. When we're making a commitment to say, we're not going to bring up the word divorce unless we're saying we mean it. And so if it's going to be a curse word in our family, we're making that commitment to one another and trusting one another that we are not going to go down that road, but we need a commitment ahead of time. Before we even decide we wanted to be engaged, before we decided anything, we have to have that same mindset. And with him, he was like, yeah, I'm all for it. I don't believe in divorce. I don't believe we should ever use that word unless we're done. And I made that agreement. And when we made that agreement and we still progressed in our relationship, when we got married, the word never comes up, because we decide, okay, maybe we need a break. Like, I'm gonna go downstairs, you stay up.
Need a break. Yeah, that's so key. Remember, we kind of touched on that, just walking away sometimes.
Walk away.
A nice weekend trip,
hour.
Trip, God trip. Yeah, you gotta have that.
Yeah,
you gotta have that, and you have to learn how to talk and communicate. And like you said, conflict resolution. I hear you saying this. No, I wasn't saying that. And then sitting there and taking the time to decipher that we are here for each other and we want the best version of each other
and the best for each other.
I love it. Some people have the vows, but they don't have their own personal agreements. Like, y'all had this agreement. Right. Like let's write down our own agreements. Right. It's not just about the marital license or what's on the contract or what's on the certificate. Right. Like, here's our agreements.
Exactly.
And so I love that. And another good tactic, I always tell people that I try to support and love, or even in my own relationships, if I'm in a disagreement or a debate and it's turning into an argument, I always say, come on, baby, we're just debating. It's okay. Well, it's not an argument, because words matter. I just think there's a lot of words that trigger people. Like,
it does.
Like, it's changed. This not say argument. We're debating. We're discussing. We're disagreeing. But I turn, instead of being at a table, like, I learned this goes a long way. I come sit next to my lady when we're having an issue, and we're side by side, so we're looking in the same direction. So just the body language is that we're moving together this way, versus combative battleship type of style. You're across that table, we're on different sides. You're offense, I'm defense. No, just moving together as you're debating or arguing or assist in any conflict resolution opportunity. We call it alternative dispute resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so ADR is the acronym. But just one of the whole conflict resolution tips of how we can actually get through these challenging times by sitting together on the same side of the table or walking down the street in our neighborhood together. Versus those same situations where we're across the kitchen bar and like throwing broccoli at each other.
Well, we wish you the best, because I know anytime you're entering a relationship, there can be some fears and concerns, right? But I think if you continue to trust in God and the decision you made, and just realize and allowing, love is scary. Mm-hmm. And I think anyone who's entering into it, it's nothing you want to enter in lightly, but you have to just definitely trust in what God is showing you
and have those
conversations. And if you can be in a long-term relationship, you can do marriage. I tell people all the time, if you want to be single, I celebrate your singleness. But if you really want to find marriage, is making those compromises and willing to take the risk and just moving forward in it. So
you said faith, right? It's like one of my favorite scriptures is Proverbs 3:5-6.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, not on your own understanding. Like that part, lean not on your own understanding. It's like when we remove ourselves from trying to understand everything that's happening to us and around us, it becomes an easier world to understand and comprehend.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of prayer, because I told you when I was ready to be married, my prayer wasn't bring the wife to me, but my prayer was make me the man that I need to be for the woman that you have for me.
Yeah, I love it.
And it was like as soon as I began to pray that prayer, within a couple of months I met her. So it really is, if we stop focusing on the outward of who is it and who am I think that's the key thing, is who am I? And then especially because of our faith in God, if we're trusting in him and not leaning to our own understanding, and he's guiding our steps, then he's going to bring us to the person that we're supposed to be with when the time is appropriate. And now we don't necessarily believe in that there's only one person, there's this one person in the entire universe. But when there is that person that you can move forward with, I believe when you open yourself up to that, God brings that person to you.
And stop overthinking. Stop overthinking.
She's about to prophesy to you, bro.
I think a lot of times when we just overthink, right? We have all these answers. We know how to resolve conflict. We know how to talk to people. I know how to move. I know how to do all the right things. And we overthink a situation, and you lose the opportunity to be fully in the moment, because I know how to get through this. I know how to resolve this. And I think a lot of times we just need to relax and just enjoy the moment and have fun. Yeah. Is this going to work out? I don't know, but I'm enjoying the moment to the point where it's going to make me say, I do want someone to have my last name. Yeah. I do want to have this long-term commitment. And I want it to work out. Will it? I don't know, because we can't tell the future, but we can try to make plans. And
it's hard. It's so easier said than done with all the data that's out there. The data.
Who cares about the data?
The data. It's like when you look at the stats. But think about it. Like back in the day, generations and like I'm talking about great grandparents.
Right.
They weren't talking to neighbors like we're talking to neighbors. They weren't Googling like we're Googling. They didn't have social media, the data was there, but they weren't aware of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you spoke with very small circles. Now you got a brunch of 15 people, and all of them have an opinion in your ear, making you think a certain way about your guy or girl, right? And it's,
but you said it best. Like you said it, you didn't listen to the noise.
No, you can't.
And so you have to find the person that's not going to listen to the noise.
And the data can be noise.
It can't be.
Facts. Yeah. For me, it has to be a conversation that's encouraging, motivating, uplifting. Like I'm a realist. Like it's not always sunshine and rainbows. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with life. But how you interpret life and how you interpret those that stimuli around you is critical for me. So I'd rather you be optimistic than pessimistic.
Yeah.
But always realistic. Always.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, for me, it's like if you're talking down to someone routinely, if you're beating yourself up routinely, if you don't know how to honor perfect strangers, if you think that you're better than other people, if you don't know where all your blessings are coming from, that means that for me, that's not the type of person that I can be with. And I'm not speaking about anyone on the show, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, this is just me talking to y'all.
In general,
so I know exactly why I fell in love with all of my girlfriends that I've had. And I know exactly why I was ready to get married to one of my girlfriends. And because it's been consistent types of qualities and attributes that they live by, their moral fiber. And so I'm happy that I'm able to identify with that type of woman. And I just wasn't ready to turn that page in my life. Gotcha. And now I am. And so I just can't wait to do that.
Okay.
We want to invite. That's all we're asking.
It's going to be live. It's going to be all the way live. I'm going to make sure the crab cakes are pumping, and you know it's going to be on the menu.
Yeah.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
Listen. Hey, by the way, that corn on the cob, that was only like 2 minutes of the conversation. We were sitting there. It was my massaging feet. We were riding jet skis all day. We were tired. That was a good conversation. And I had her cracking up. Shereese is funny, and I'm corny. I'm not. Shereese is more funny. I'm more corny. And so you put those types of personalities together with some libations, a couple of drinks, man, we had such a good time. That's the best part of it all. And the reason why I want to walk away from this experience with everybody on the cast.
Yeah.
And we've hung out like together, but I want to walk away with everybody and be like, yo, let's get together. My place, you know, let's barbecue up, let's go swimming, you know, just whatever. Let's all meet in Aruba, you know, or let's go to South Africa, you know, do the Nelson Mandela tour. Let's go hiking, you know, Table Mountain, and just do some fun stuff together. I would love to have that type of energy. If people just let go of it, we could always put it on television. Like, hey, listen, it wasn't us, it was TV.
Right.
Let it go. Let's go ahead, let it roll. Let's ride. Let's have some fun together. So that's my prayer, and that's my piece for everybody. It's going to take a while to get there for most. Yeah, there's a lot of drama going on behind the scenes.
I've seen just a few things here and there as far as like on Instagram and whatnot. So now, what's next for you? What's next for Sampson?
In terms of
whatever you want to share before we close.
Oh, what's next? Well, I'm just going to continue to stamp passports. It's always better to travel in twos instead of solo. So I would love to start experiencing love again in my life. So hopefully what I have currently will mature and blossom. And if not, I'll trust in the path that God has before me, but I'll make sure I'm an active part in being a co-pilot. Unless I'm going to sit there and do nothing and pray for something and not act, right? So I'm going to do my part. I have awesome nephews and nieces, 11 of them, like I said, and I want to make sure I'm continue to be a good uncle and role model. But I want to take the life coaching and mentoring thing and build something with it. So I don't do it for money. I've never got paid for coaching or mentoring, and I never want to. But I do want to share best practices and lessons learned as it relates to real estate, stocks, investing, options trading, as well as effective communication that can be used in any realm of life. Effective communication, how to become an active listener, and how to truly give back to the communities that are around us and serve people in those communities. So that's what I'm doing out here in Tampa now, is we're helping Hurricane Ian disaster survivors as we have Tropical Storm Nicole coming in tomorrow. So it's back to back storms for these Floridians, but they're used to it. Very similar to Louisiana and Texas used to floods, and y'all are used to wildfires. We're used to that kind of stuff. But what's next for me is just I want to continue just to give back, continue to serve, and be a good influence to at least one person that's standing next to me.
Okay,
that's nice.
Good.
That's
Good.
nice. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and end our time.
Hang on, Sampson. We'll disconnect here in just a moment. But we definitely will appreciate everyone that hopped on this live. Definitely make sure, even as you're finishing up, make sure you're hitting that like button. And then definitely follow Sampson on IG. Sampson, are you anywhere else?
No, not really. I'm not really into social media. I'm starting to be.
Gotcha.
I got picked up. I got an agent now, and you may see me on television and acting and maybe some movies. So commercials. I used to do modeling back in the day, but With God is where you can find me. I try to keep it positive on that page. But yeah, more to come. You can find me there.
Okay, awesome. Well, look, we appreciate you stopping by the Conversations with the Crawley family, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.
Thank you.